Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
You want Bears talk, you want NFL talk, you have it right here as we give you Forward Progress on 312 Sports. Dan Bernstein, Matt Abaticola. This is brought to you by Church Brewing, New Buffalo's brewery-pizzeria in a historic church. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, small batch craft beer, brunch every day. Visit beerchurchbrewing.com.
I will do that. I think I just got an email on our family calendar, new Buffalo trip, the beginning of November.
You're set.
Couple nights.
You're set.
Yes.
Absolutely. Make Beer Church a stop. Talk to John. He's going to want to show you all of the ins and outs and everything. The boys are all going to love it. I promise you.
Oh, no, there's no kids.
Oh, good. Ooh.
Yeah, no. What do you? No, this is trying to get away to enjoy the time.
Ah.
Yes. No. There's then. Look at you. That was cute. The boys are gonna love it.
I thought you were like getting a house and letting them run around.
No. There's
okay.
just
no.
Hell no.
As a backbone for today's edition of Forward Progress, we're going to use yesterday's Ben Johnson press conference. Multiple jumping off points that Maddie has curated to go in all kinds of different directions. I've got some thoughts on everything we had been talking about building up to this and what it means for Tyrique Stevenson. And reading more about him, I found myself thinking a little differently than I have and finding more empathy than I have for his plight. And
okay, I'm curious to hear that.
Well, you should be. And it's going to be interesting when we get to that. But I know there's nuts and bolts stuff, but it's just a weird time to have the bye. It's fit nicely with whatever brief playoff run the Cubs have decided to bring us here, unless they can pull a rabbit out of that blue hat. But Ben Johnson seemed re-energized. It seemed like his overall bearing yesterday was one of a coach that understands that he had coaching time. Coaches love coaching, and they lament lack of practice time.
Yeah, and so we know that the Bears had several days off, the mandatory 4 days. They had the extra day Monday. They were back at it yesterday. But we do know that they took this time to self-scout and kind of evaluate the first 4 weeks. I'm really curious to hear even more from Ben Johnson, more than what we heard just yesterday, what he thought of his team. And he was asked to evaluate the offense after the first 4 games of the season.
We're still a work in progress. Some things we're doing well, some things we're not. I think the inconsistent nature with which we're playing, we're shooting ourselves in the foot quite a bit. And when I look at where we were through the first 4 weeks, a lot of penalties. I want to say we were top 5 on offense there through 4 weeks. And so we're playing behind the sticks. And you can certainly feel that as I was calling it. I give the guys a lot of credit. I did feel like we were pretty good at getting back on track as much as we could, but it's just not sustainable when you're playing football that way. And so that's going to be an emphasis for us here going forward. We've got to get the pre-snap penalties under control, and they know that. The running game, I've kind of alluded to it over the course of training camp. It's going to take a little bit of time for our guys to all mesh together, and I think that's what the tape looks like right now. We're just not firing on all cylinders yet, and sometimes it could be the ball carrier not hitting the right spot. Other times it's just our combinations aren't clean yet, and it's going to take everybody. It's quarterback, it's receivers, it's O-line, it's tight ends to go along with those runners. So. Yeah, it's a very complex question. They're playing for each other. I think we're doing a good job of getting that kind of squared away, and I think good things will happen the more time we spend together.
All right, so what stands out?
You say you're going to clean up the penalties, and you're going to concentrate on that and make that a focus. How?
Yeah, how?
How? That I really want to know, are you pulling somebody off the ones in a practice? Are you going to threaten overall playing time? You have your starters. These are professionals. You can't treat them like kids. And you can't start playing these, silly games with them. I'll bench your dumb ass. But at some point, there has to be a consequence for, even if Darnell Wright is your starter, or if Jonah Jackson, whoever is doing this and whoever keeps doing it, Cole Kmet, what is the consequence?
Right.
I'd love to follow up. How do you, other than stressing it, other than saying over and over and over again and stopping the tape, know the snap count. Don't get suckered in by people jumping around. Concentrate. Keep your eyes on the football. It even comes to your alignment and whether or not you're in a legal formation. Make sure that when you look down the line of scrimmage, you have the proper number of people on the line, that receiver is covered or not covered as need be, where your slot guy is. So how? What's the consequence of not getting better at this?
Yeah, and I think not having Darnell Wright on the line, if that's the way it goes, I think that immediately helps for what we've seen. That helps right away. But a guy like Jonah Jackson, a veteran like Jackson, what happens if it continues? What do you do?
You've got a backup guard who is a rookie that you liked.
Are you going to take him out of the game if it continues?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Or is it something just in practice where you say, get over here and watch somebody do your job for a couple of reps here in whatever it is?
Yeah, and I guess that's one way to go about it, because you have to have some type of consequence to it in their brain. Because it could just be, I'm the starting right guard. You paid me a lot of money to be here. I'm not coming out of the game.
They were saying that the other night when they kept pointing on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football at the Chiefs' right tackle, who they said was the most penalized player. So I kept thinking it's sort of like leading the NBA in turnovers. You have to be good to lead the league in penalties, because that means you're playing a lot, no matter what you do.
Yeah,
I think one year it was Garrett Bowles, because he had earned the nickname Garrett Blows because he that's the Broncos tackle.
Okay.
So if you're able to accrue that many penalties, you must be really hard to take off the field. I always look at that. Look at the NBA leaders in turnovers every year. It's like MLB strikeouts. That's just how you make your outs. You're going to get your 4 plate appearances a game. Your strikeout leaders are almost always dangerous hitters. So it's sort of one of these things where they say we're going to crack down on it. We want there to be a consequence. But often, if a guy's just the best player you have and is prone to that stuff, unfortunately, you got to live with it. I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I hope that's not the case. And yeah, it is curious to see what happens though if it doesn't get cleaned up, because all you can do is talk about it. You can talk about cleaning it up and knowing that their offense was in the top 5 of teams being most penalized. You can't have that. You can't have that with an offense that's still meshing and coming together. He even said that the guys just aren't coming together yet like they need to. I know. And he talked in there a bit too about the run game. That he says sometimes it's
not hitting the hole,
which you can solve that too by taking that ball out of the guy's hands. If you're not going to hit the hole consistently, the one that we need to run to, then you just won't carry the ball.
And you're going to take away some opportunities for explosives, because that next person isn't going to be as fast or as elusive.
But you still haven't had those either.
But you haven't. You're not trading off some of these explosives, because that's his whole offense is designed to make every possible play, no matter what he runs, there's a possibility of an explosive. That's the Ben Johnson idea.
Yeah, and then he also followed that up with some of the combinations, which I assume are the combinations in his blocking scheme, just aren't being executed properly, which he then says is about the guys not having time together. You're 4 weeks in after a full off season.
Yeah, no more of that.
Like, these guys didn't get here in September, like a week before the game.
What else we got?
Okay, so he was asked about Caleb Williams, and I just want to pull one quick clip from Caleb Williams because I think it gives us some insight on something we've been discussing a lot about Ben Johnson.
Caleb has grown each and every week. He's getting more comfortable calling the plays in the offense, and I'm really excited about what the next, call it the second quarter of the season, is going to look like for him.
So a quick one there. I agree. He has gotten better with each week. He looks better. He's getting better. but he says there that he's getting better at calling the plays. I think it shows
This goes back to yesterday.
It goes back to what Ben Johnson has said now multiple times about himself having to get better in getting the calls in. I think it really just shared some insight that it's really on Caleb. I'm taking the heat for Caleb because I'm not getting the calls in quick enough or soon enough or having struggles with getting the calls in. All the different things he said now, it's really some insight there that it's on Caleb getting the call in the huddle and onto the line of scrimmage.
Maybe he told him, he's like, hey, kid, I'm only going to be your shield on this for so long.
Like it's over now.
Yeah, at some point it's on you.
So I think that little insight there is really what's happening with the play calling, that Caleb is getting better. So we'll see if that continues through. We'll see what happens on Monday night against Washington.
On the road.
And if the post game, if we're going to hear Ben Johnson again, well, I need to do better at this. Or is it on Caleb getting the call from the coach and then getting it communicated in the huddle and executed at the line of scrimmage?
I would like to hear the question phrased that way, to maybe take that out of play. It might not be in a post game, but maybe that's a question for a Monday or any other time to say, hey, Ben, you've been taking a lot of the blame for getting a play off late in the clock or difficulty with that communication. How much is that really you and how much is on here? Like, ask it.
Sure.
That's
fair. I mean, that's not some kind of hostile question. It's a fair question.
No, it's like you can even say, I know you're trying to do right by your player. It's obvious.
Right.
And it's okay to talk about these things.
Yeah. Because it also goes back, though, 2 weeks ago when he was saying it, and like I wanted the question asked, well, why is it a problem? Like, where's if it is on you, coach, where's the problem coming from? I think you stated it. Did this happen in Detroit? If so, how did you fix it? If not, why is it happening here?
That's it.
Those are fair questions to ask. All right. He was also asked about the running backs, and then if the Bears need an upgrade in their running back room.
Our guys are going to be fine. I've kind of it's not always the runners. It's everybody, and it's the quarterback carrying out his fake. It's the receivers blocking down the field. It's the tight ends doing their job, and same thing with the offensive line. I think there's a lot of times on that tape we're not giving our runners a chance. So I think we're fine there.
But teams with really good running backs never have to say that.
Yeah.
Of course it's the running back.
Yeah.
And I'm not making some argument for paying a running back a ton of money, but just find a guy. You can find a guy who can do it. And I know that everything he's saying is technically correct.
Yeah.
But it's also not stuff you hear when there's a really talented running back that makes all the other stuff kind of pointless.
Right. I mean, that's what having a really good quarterback does for you. It makes everyone around you better. It eliminates the small mistakes. They don't seem as magnified. With a running back that's not doing his main basic job of hitting the exact hole that needs for the play to be executed. And he says there, it is fair. Sometimes it can be on the quarterback and the exchange can be bad or the footwork can be bad and getting that ball back to the running back. But I think the majority of it is not hitting the hole. And if you're not going to hit the hole, then you can talk about the offensive line and the tight end and the quarterback all you want. You're not doing the main principle of your job, which is get the ball and hit the hole that you need to hit in order to execute this play successfully.
Go that way and don't wait.
Yeah, I think he pointed that out yesterday. Just stop spending so much time in the backfield. Go. Get the ball and go.
It shouldn't take multiple seconds for you to move down the field.
You would think.
Unless it is a belly stretch play. Fine.
Yeah.
Then put your offensive lineman in an easier position rather than running duo when everything is these combinations and a timed up combination. Make it easier on him.
Right, but if you're hitting a dive or you're hitting some kind of off tackle, just go. Get the ball and go.
Yeah, that's gap scheme.
Right, and then if the hole's not there, that's not on you. No, it's funny. I tell these 12-year-old kids all the time, don't be the reason why a play doesn't execute well. Like, do your job. And then if it doesn't execute well, then, we can look and say, what's the issue?
Or that could be us putting you in a position to fail.
Right.
It could be us as coaches saying, I'm asking you to block a guy that you're going to struggle to block. So why don't we run away from him?
Instead of running right at him.
Yeah.
But you just execute your job. Do your job so that if the play doesn't go well, we can identify what the issue is. And don't ever be the reason why it doesn't work out. All right, he was also asked about the season so far that Roma Dunze is having.
He's a pro. He comes into the building and he looks to get after work. And, I think he's taken to that receiver room. Those guys really all mesh well together. it's the hard work mentality, yet, I know he's had some production come his way that can kind of come in waves, if you will, and he started off hot here. Hopefully that'll continue to go, but I know he's just a guy that's committed to winning right now, and whatever it takes for us as an offense to score points and as a team to win ball games. And so I see him as a leader here on this team.
There you go. Roma Dunze, guy that we've talked about his numbers for the season, off to an unbelievable start after 4 games. The scoring production is just outstanding. And then we talked about the targets and the receptions, how that gap needs to close just a little bit. 20 receptions on 35 targets. Little too much space there. Some of that's on Caleb. A couple of those are on him as well.
And I like to think that if there is more speed out there, if you can get Loveland on the field, if you can use Luther Burden more, that there's going to be more space for your top guy to operate. And he's doing this right now. Every positive in the passing game looks better when you consider the problems in the run game. They work together, and with the amount of play action that Ben Johnson's offense can use when it's going well, that I just like to think that these are all really good signs of sort of a latent, unrealized value in the passing game that we're not seeing because of the lack of respect for the run game. And I'm not just talking about the box count, about whether that safety's rolled up or not, or whether or not there's a strong side linebacker on the field instead of another corner. It is just literally the distance between the layers of a defense that can be built in based on a successfully executed play action out of respect for the run.
Yeah, and that's really where Ben Johnson and his offense, that's where it lives. And he wants to work off play action. And you can't be successful off play action if you're not having a competitive run game, which they don't have right now. And to see what they're doing successfully in the passing game, just on an island outside of what he wants to do within the structure of his offense, that is encouraging. And it's good to see what Caleb's been able to do and how he's grown over these last 4 games, and to see the production that Roma Dunze has for the Bears so far this season. Now, if you can get that passing game to work well within the constraints of what he wants to do as an offense, that's when you're cooking.
Well, it also has to do with score and situation. That it's easier to commit to the run game when you're not trying to conserve time to come back. And getting out to a lead should allow you to say, okay, blockers, okay, running backs, they know it's coming. Block them.
Yeah, and we saw that in the Cowboys game for a great drive. I mean, the best drive of the season. We saw that in the Raiders game when they had to get that drive and they knew they were going to run the ball. They were able to do it. And yeah, that's a huge part to it. But it all starts with that run game, and they've got to get that figured out. And so I'm really, really excited to see, with the bye week and the time to evaluate it and not have to worry about game planning for an opponent, to have this extra time to see what the offense will look like from the run perspective on Monday night in Washington, which is going to be tough.
I had somebody ask me about Beer Church over the weekend, and they said, is it actually a church? I said, yeah, that's the whole point, is that it is a Civil War era iconic church in New Buffalo, Michigan, that they have converted. They're the beautiful bones of this building that they converted into a brewery and a restaurant. And really what's fun about it, and I urge you, go to beerchurchbrewing.com and look at their menu. They don't call it a menu. They call it their hymnal. Like, they really lean into the church thing and have fun with it. Their slogan is drink, eat, repent, repeat. And in the names of all of their stuff, they have a drink. They have a shot called Jesus Juice. They have a shot called Kinky Mary. They have a shot called Heaven's Gate. There's all sorts of things that their toast is called Communion Toast. They have avocado communion toast. So they really lean in. I imagine when you do the sampler of all of their small batch beers, it comes out in a cross, in a lacquered wooden cross with spaces there to hold the tasting glasses. So it's so much fun, and the pizza school is really unique because a lot of places will make your Neapolitan-style wood-fired pizza, but they're so into it. They can't wait to teach you how to do it at Beer Church, and they want you to come out with a party, with a big group of people. This is year-round, and people remember this. This is different than just like a typical work party or something an annual thing that maybe you do with your friends. It could be a huge group. Bring them all out and learn how to make Neapolitan pizza, and then make it, and then for 2 hours, for lunch or dinner, it's a private exclusive party. Friends or family or the whole office. You can book it right now at beerchurchbrewing.com and let that pizza party begin. And there's so much other stuff. I can tell you their meatballs are amazing. They actually have these little pork shank pops that are spectacular. Like just a couple bites of a pork shank on the end, like picking up a lollipop. The wings are amazing. I've basically tried everything.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
I can't wait to get there and try. And I like, for me, a good meal is like at a pizza place is obviously good pie, but I like to start with like a meatball appetizer. So if you're saying they're good,
they are.
Then that's where I'm starting. I'm starting there.
And they're stuffed banana peppers.
Ooh, I do love banana peppers.
Banana peppers stuffed with fennel sausage and goat cheese.
Ooh.
San Marzano tomato sauce, and then Grana Padano cheese on top.
All right, I'm in.
Yep.
I want those too.
Yep. Yeah, you do.
I'll take those.
It is Beer Church Brewing. You can find out all the information and go. You watch some games, you hang out, you nosh, you learn how to make a pizza, and there's brunch every single day. Go to beerchurchbrewing.com.
All right, I'm going to play something here for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So here you go.
He's gotten hit throughout the rest of the game, and it's hurting more now.
It comes down to one last play, and it's going to be getting longer by the second. You're all the way back at the 30-yard line.
You're telling us.
Now you can step into it. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! Caught! It's a miracle! It's Noah Brown! Oh, my goodness! This town is going crazy. It's a madhouse in Landover, Maryland. He did it. Oh, this one will be paid back over and over again for decades. Ball tipped by Stevenson. Noah Brown just standing back there all alone. Plucks it out of the air for the victory.
I know this sounds crazy, but there's a method to the madness here. Everyone usually goes and jumps to the ball. You always put one guy behind and try and put one in front and have two or three go jump for it. And Daniel's extending this play, and the time allowed everyone to get down there in position to go toward the ball and be in their spots. And what a game, Jim.
There are no words.
Well, there are.
And you have to say them. It's your job.
Right. You
need to find them.
Say some words there, Greg Norman.
I love that he's like, well, this is going to sound crazy here, but there's a method to the madness. You got a blob, you put a guy in front of a guy. Well, there's nothing crazy about that at all. That's actually how it works.
It's a play.
Doesn't sound crazy at all.
Right.
Tony. I got a crazy idea, Coach.
Wait a second. Why don't we plan something? Why don't we look at film and then, based on tendencies, put ourselves in a better position to have this succeed?
They're going to talk about that play for decades to come.
We kind of are.
Well, it's only been a year.
So Dan Wiederer, I thought, did a really good job in a piece. This is the first of many pieces we're going to read about Tyrique Stevenson and what this means and how far he's come and all that. And I know I sound kind of cynical. But when I read about this, I felt a little differently. But there's stuff in here that I did not know that was written in The Athletic, that Tyrique Stevenson has an old friend back home in Miami, a guy named Rudy Trevino, who was his middle school wrestling coach.
Okay.
Who he calls on as kind of a mentor. He told him, he said, baby boy, you're teach tape now. For the rest of your life, teach tape. So Stevenson had been, according to this, out of sorts with the chaos he created. And he was questioning who tipped the football backward. He said, this is a quote, who the fuck was dumb enough to hit the ball? Well,
you should watch it.
Tyrique, that was you.
Yeah.
And he learned he was the culprit. And apparently, as everything started to blow up, Trevino gave him the blood raw truth. Stevenson said, Rudy told me that was bullshit. What you showed and what you did, that's who you are sometimes. You can try your best to avoid that, to escape it, but let's be real. That's who you can be sometimes. And he told him, he said, everywhere I go now, I'm going to use that clip to show my players this is what you can't ever do. I hate that this is you. Fuck, man. So Trevino says he could hear the anguish in Stevenson's voice and sense it in his silence. And this was the passage that got me a little bit. He said he was vulnerable, hurt, devastated, alone. That's how he should have felt. That all comes with it. You let down 52 other guys. You let down 20-some coaches. You let down one of the most passionate football fan bases in the world. That's heavy shit. So anybody who listened to the first episode of this podcast, was it 5 weeks ago?
7. Almost 7. Almost 7 weeks, yeah.
7 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable how fast that flies.
Yes.
And you heard me talk about feeling vulnerable, hurt, devastated, alone. And it wasn't necessarily, it's not a one-to-one parallel because it wasn't something directly that I did badly at my specific job, but it was a part of it. It's certainly enough of a parallel for me to feel empathy in a different way than I did at the time that this happened. That a year removed from this, I feel differently about where Tyrique Stevenson was and where he is now and the support he's gotten. Because remember what I said in that episode? You learn who your friends are and who they aren't.
Yep.
That you really learn people who care about you, who say, how are you? Are you okay? And along the way, and asking some of these things. And having had that unfortunate experience and trying to build out of it, the concept of turning something that negative into something positive. And I'm proud to say sitting here today that we're in the process of doing that. But I can say in a way that I never felt quite before that I get it. I get it. And it's not an empathy that you want to go out of your way to try to have to feel that alone and that hurt, but whatever it was within the Bears system, whatever it was about his talent that allowed him to keep his job and have an opportunity to redeem himself, I guess I'm rooting for him, and I feel better about him and about how far he's come in a way that I didn't before.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you sharing that, and it makes sense too because, I mean, as fans, we use football, particularly the football in this town, to escape from our everyday regular lives, and we use that window of time. And I get when we look at the team with a critical eye, and we read some comments or get some email feedback from people like, "Why are you so negative? Why are you being so negative?" Well, it's because we are looking at it critically, and I get it that if this isn't what you do for your job, the Bears take you away from all that stuff you want to forget about in your week. And so, and I've lived like that, and I appreciate that, and I understand it. But just because you can be critical of something doesn't mean you're being negative or want the worst for that team.
No, it's the opposite. It's because you want everything to go well, and you're holding everything to the highest possible standard.
Right. That's the whole point to it. But in all of that, whether we're the casual fan that uses the Bears as an escape from our life for a few hours each week, or we're looking at them critically and want to challenge them because this is what we do for our jobs, we sometimes forget that there are people that play the games. And that to us, they're just professional athletes that make a lot of money, and they don't deserve to have the same type of evaluation of a human being.
See, I know they do, but you also have to suppress some of that if you're going to be an honest critic.
Yes, no, 100%. And that's why we have to be critical of them in what we do. We talk about them on a podcast for a living. Mm-hmm. We have to be critical. You can't just let that slide because they're humans. But I'm just saying that we sometimes forget that, whether it's our job to be critical or we're just the fans that use that as a time to escape, that, yeah, they are humans. And so I never sat down to think, all right, how did this impact Tyrique Stevenson?
Right, and I don't need everybody's sob story when he fucks up.
No, because sometimes you just fuck up and that's the way it happens.
Right, I'm not saying that I'm craving to know every time Cole Kmet commits a penalty that I need some mitigating reason to not be mad at him.
No, but here's the thing, though. I think on a regular everyday play, fine. You don't need that. This was a significant moment in the Bears season. that opened the door to the next 9 losses.
And a coach firing and
Right.
Ben Johnson being here and everything. And he's still here and
Right.
starting and meaningful.
Because they were 4-2 at that point, correct? If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm totally wrong. But that was the game that made them 4-3. If I'm wrong, I'll go back and check it.
You were on a playoff trajectory at that point.
You were. You were at a point of the season after 6 games that it was like, all right, the Bears are for real. And that play opened up the doorway to the collapse and the crumbling of your entire season. And like you said, eventually the firing of a head coach. But you never sat down. I never sat down and thought, all right, how did this impact this dude? And so it's cool to hear that. And again, it's not something that should be done for every play. Like I don't want to hear it when Darnell Wright, has a false start, or Cole Kmet, has an illegal motion, or whatever it might be. The play clock runs out and there's a penalty on the Bears. I don't need to hear about that because that's not the same impact. It's not the same level of what this play did for the Bears season, and how that, as a player, you have to sit and you have to own that. And to have a guy in his life to say, you let 52 other people down, you let all the 20-some coaches down, you let an entire fan base down. Like, to be able to ride that and hold that in, that had to be absolutely devastating.
And he also went deeper than that. If you go on in this story about the fact that his kid was born and he had a new wisdom about what matters and what doesn't matter. But there's even Tony Medlin is in here. T-Med. T-Med asked him, have you forgiven yourself?
That's huge.
And that matters too, because we always talk about, a closer's got to have a short memory in baseball. Forget it. The next pitch, next thing, next guy, go get him, erase it. And a hockey goalie, the psychology of being a hockey goaltender is you can't let one goal turn into 2.
Yeah.
You cannot question yourself. There have been so many words written about the human psychology of some of this stuff. But he said he did take it further. That Stevenson understood when he heard Trevino saying this, you do things like this, that it wasn't just one thing, that he can get distracted. And how he plays football. Was it, how did he approach things? Was he easily distracted? And he changed everything.
Yeah.
About not letting fans get to him, about being in the moment and understanding things and compartmentalizing his overall investment and concentration. Like I say, turn that negative into a positive. I can't quibble with Tyrique Stevenson's approach to trying to bring himself back from that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And good for him to be able to do that. And if there were character issues within his work ethic that needed to be examined and evaluated, and Trevino called that out for him, and that made him move forward in life, that's great. That's great. And it's oddly enough, Ben Johnson was asked about Tyrique Stevenson, and he even addresses some of that.
Tyrique's gotten better each game. He, prior to the bye week, that was his best game against the Raiders to date, that had been a part of, and I think he's doing a good job of just compartmentalizing everything and hitting the reset button going into each week. And I've said it before that those corners, they have to have short memories. There's sometimes you're left on an island for 12 plays and no action comes your way, and then all of a sudden something comes your way, and if it's a bad play, you got to be able to erase it. And if it's a good play, same thing. You got to turn on to the next one. And so I think he's done a nice job getting that mental toughness up to a point to where he can block out all that outside noise and continue to stay consistent with both his process on a weekly basis, but also within a game.
What's he showing you outside of Sundays? Intangible things like attentiveness, preparedness, things like that.
Yeah, it's for a young player. I've seen it improve. There's always still work to be done there, but I think Al Harris has done a nice job showing him what it means to be a pro in this league, and he's taken that to heart. The practice habits continue to improve, and I really believe that he's starting to turn the corner for us.
There you go.
Now, let's be clear about this, the trope of short memory. It isn't really true. It's a matter of when. Like a lot of things, the whole forget it, move on might be true in a game. In the middle of a game, absolutely, short memory. Don't let one bad play affect you. like in baseball, don't let a bad at bat make you, if you're stewing about that and then you make a bad play in the field, or vice versa. You make a critical error and then you're not in your head when you're at the next plate appearance. That's every sport. That's every aspect of life. But to have a short memory in the moment of action is different than how you use the memory of that to perhaps change your approach or realize why did I get burned? Did my hips turn too early? When he's watching film, when a cornerback is watching a film getting burned, when a goalie is watching a film of letting one get under his blocker, when somebody in the field is watching letting a ball play you instead of going after the ball in the field, you don't have a short memory. You got to commit that. You got to learn from that. Coaches love to say it. It's not really true. It's have control, have agency over how you remember. And what action do you take in the wake of that memory? What action do you take because of that memory? Of course you want to remember. It becomes part of you. It happened. It happened. And turn into it. Steer into the skid sometimes. Remember it harder sometimes. Not right then. Not on the next play. But that's what practice is for. That's what that's what your own time is for. And talk about it too. That's the other thing. Don't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Whether it's your former wrestling coach, your current coach, your wife, your spouse, your friend, your kids, talk it through. Maybe somebody says something that helps.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I disagree to a certain extent too. That saying that it's not true, because I think it's, and you broke it down, it's relevant to that moment. And in that moment, in that game, it's very true. Because I tell my kids and our team, and they know this, and they can repeat it to you right now, any kid on the team, something bad happens in a game, 3, 2, 1, flush it. That's the mantra that we have. And, sometimes
in a game,
sometimes
yes,
we'll yell it from the sideline. If we see a kid, his face isn't right, we'll say, hey, 3, 2, 1, and they'll say flush it. And they know it. And sometimes, and they do that to themselves now. They miss a block, they drop a pass, 3, 2, 1, flush it. Move on, next play. But then we bring it back up and talk about it in practice.
Exactly.
Because why did this happen? But we also do that with good things, though. When they do good things. Why did that play execute so well? Okay? Remember that feeling of what you did and how you did it to execute that play again.
And remember what you saw that
you were executing
that got
it.
you
Yes.
in the right position to move that way.
And then when it's bad, we say, why did that happen? Well, we know why was this guy getting through the offensive line and we got taken, for a loss of yards? Well, we didn't communicate on the offensive line. Okay, why are we communicating? When we talk about this, let's talk about it. And then we do the drills. Remember how it feels in your body. Okay, how does it feel to tackle that?
Some of that is subconscious too.
Yeah.
That if you really got them down, when you drill something enough, it's not even a conscious reaction.
Yeah.
You just go.
You just go and do it. And I mean, we have this really cool drill. We were tackling really high at the start of the season, and I have this drill where we have a tackling dummy, and I put it 25 yards downfield. And so they start at the goal line, and they run, and every 10 yards they run down. They get the grab grass. So we call it the grab grass drill.
Okay.
And so
It's hard to say.
Yeah, because sometimes it comes out as grab ass drill.
Right.
Yeah, I know. So now,
Different drill.
Okay, if I can be out, now we just say the grab ass drill, because I said it one time and it was, so now that's what we.
Good.
Yeah,
Own
I know.
it.
I know. Second it happened, I was like, oh shit. Well, whatever.
Now it's the grab ass.
Now it's the
drill.
grab ass drill. So at the 10, you grab grass. At the 20, you grab grass. At the 25, you're down. And so now their body's getting low, and we've progressed. We've gotten better at it. So now it's more natural for about half the guys. We see that they're tackling below the waist. They're getting low. They're getting their shoulder pad on a thigh pad.
Do you play get low while they're doing it?
I don't. I haven't brought the music out yet.
Okay.
I know. I should, but you have to. So you have to remember that, and the good and the bad. But in that moment, you have to forget. You have to, because you can't let it distract from what's happening. All right, one last cut from Ben Johnson, and he was asked early in his press time yesterday with the media if he made a decision on who's starting at the tackles, and he said no. Or no, he said we know what we're doing.
Ha ha ha.
And then it was completely like that. And then it was asked, well, you're not going to tell us. Well, no. But then later on, he was
Why
asked.
not? Is that big a state secret that somehow they're gonna prepare for different tackles?
Because I think, and this is what, and here's what his answer is. Then later on in the media session, I think they know what they want to do, and I think I think they know how it's gonna play out, but they're not telling the guys yet to give them this week to battle out for it. And
right, or they don't want. Otherwise, Theo Benedict's gonna have 20 people in his locker,
distracting the whole week.
Maybe they just don't want the extra pressure on him. He seems ready to handle it, though.
But so here's what he did say about the tackles.
We've got some really good tackles, and so that was the beauty of the vision that Ryan had, was bringing in a lot of really talented players and letting them battle out and see who wins what. And so whether that's a starting role or whether that's a backup role, we'll determine that when that time comes.
Is there a world where if Ozzie plays well, he could win that job?
Absolutely. He's a really good player. I think he's really settled in on that right side, and I'm really looking forward to all those tackles getting healthy and getting after it again.
Yeah. Okay. I love how he said you can win the starting job or even the backup job. You don't really win a backup job.
I won.
Hey, congratulations! You've won the backup job.
All right, everybody's a winner.
So maybe that's how they announce it. Instead of announcing who the starter is, they announce who won the backup job. Hey guys, come on, gather around here. I want to congratulate.
I guess I lost the backup job.
Yeah, want to congratulate Darnell Wright. Darnell, you've won the backup job this week at right tackle.
Well, I guess that means Ozzie, you know, all we have left is the starting job.
Yeah, so sorry, Ozzie. You're going to have to start, I guess, because Darnell won the backup job.
Okay. I guess I will. Thanks, Coach. Okay.
So, yeah, I think they know how it's going to play out. He may even have it down already in his game plan. But I think he's not doing that right now to give the couple days of work here to see how it plays out.
Or they're going to give a guy a series here and there. Depending on...
In a game?
Who knows? Depending on score and situation, depending on matchups, depending on what they're showing.
Yeah, I guess it could be they could have a leash to it and say, all right, if this happens, then this guy gets a look. Maybe that's what it is, Dan. Maybe there are 2 false starts and 1 false start, and we're going to give the other guy a run.
Maybe that's what we're asking. That gets right back to what we started with, was accountability in that regard. You want accountability? We got 3 guys we believe in, maybe 4 guys we believe in.
And that's the beauty of what Ryan Poles put together. He brought in all these great tackles.
Okay.
That's what he said. That's what that's exactly what he said. I mean, I'm not making it up.
I know.
No, I mean, those are...
Maybe we just haven't seen them yet.
We've got some really good tackles, and so that was the beauty of the vision that Ryan had, was bringing in a lot of really...
Oh, it was the beauty of the vision he had.
Right.
It wasn't the plan that he executed.
It wasn't actually realized.
You know what would be great? To bring in 4 starting tackles.
He didn't say great. He said really good.
That's a great vision to have. Okay. But here's what we did instead.
Ryan had this awesome vision. Why we couldn't act on it, I have absolutely no clue.
I mean, I had a vision of a nice porterhouse steak and a baked potato, but I had a box of mac and cheese,
Porterhouse.
Yeah.
A wax buildup on these shoes. That's going to do it for Forward Progress today. That was your hardcore Bears stuff.
I hope it was positive enough. I'm so tired of hurting people's feelings.
There you go. Oh, I know you are.
I am.
So
especially the Brewers fans.
Boy, a lot of people not getting
it.
No,
they didn't. Not at all.
I was laughing. There were so many people like, yeah, well, your team sucks.
Yeah.
The Brewers won these games.
There was a guy who emailed, and he just emailed me, and how much he really enjoyed the whole thing.
Oh,
so he got it. I mean, he got the whole.
There's a lot of Brewers fans that sort of understood the subtext to everything.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Thank you for listening to Forward Progress, you, the Chicago Bears fan, and make it a part of your everyday and your post games.
The post game shows, yes, but remember, you have to follow both shows on YouTube. Subscribe to both channels, Dan Bernstein Unfiltered, and there's a separate one, Forward Progress.
And 312 Sports is where you're going to find Dan
everything.
Bernstein Unfiltered, and there's a separate Forward Progress channel.
But you have to subscribe to both and then hit the little bell icon so you get the alerts, so that when we do go live, you'll get alerted to it right there on your phone, because you just don't know with these games. I mean, Monday night, we could be halftime doing a post-game show because the Bears are up 35-0.
Okay.
Or 42-0. because that's how I feel they're gonna do. I think they're gonna win this game by 72 points, Dan, because I believe in the Bears and Caleb Williams and their offense.
All right, we'll see if that is indeed his pick on Friday.
Oh, I do have a good pick coming up for you, though.
I'm excited to know.
I got a really good one.
I can't wait. I've been on a roll lately.
You have been on a roll.
I've been delivering for you.
All right, say goodbye now.
Goodbye now.
219!
Forward Progress. A Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.